our toast tonight, our prize fund, the one, the only Joseph Taylor.
All right. You know I love this. I just want to thank everybody, family, friends, who celebrate Caroline and Patsy. I really want to give a thank you to my wife, who has raised her well beyond I ever could. I'd also like to thank Pat, Shannon, and the Blewett family. It was unbelievable to make this easy and accept us into the family. I really appreciate what you've done. I guess I'm going to have to thank Uncle Nate and Lord. They've been in this feud since the beginning, and let's face it, Pat was dating a girl and had a short ass. But really, you guys accepted her just as well as they did. I really appreciate it. I'm reading this, you know that. Pat and Caroline have been together since high school. Caroline, I couldn't have picked a better guy, or your mom, for me. You guys have been together forever. He's a soulmate. He's a great guy. I mean, I have no problems with you guys are going to be the best. Besides that, I'm kind of willing to bet, Pat, you look into her computer, she's got a timeline for the next 60 years. This is a girl who would call her mom, have an escape route for a high school head party, and have a hidden passage to be picked up for it. A little more organized, all right? So, you know what we're getting into. Pat, you won the heart of my little friend. You've also won the heart of our family. You're into it, and dare I say, I think Lauren's been there too. All right, Caroline, some of the family might say she's my favorite. I'm not going to comment. That's the end of that. I do want to know, from the moment you were born, you stole our hearts. I couldn't be prouder than the person who you are. You're caring, you're loving, you're passionate, full of life, maybe a little overdriven. Sit back and enjoy. It's hard to believe you come from that little girl, tidy, organized, committed, overdriven, into tidy, organized. You've achieved everything you've ever set out for. And I guarantee you this marriage will be perfect. I love you guys. I'd like you all to just raise a glass, because I'm a little off the timeline. Speed this up. I want your lives to be full of happiness, love, caring, keep the communication open. I love you. Cheers, guys.
Our beautiful maids of honor, Lauren and Megan
Okay. Before I say anything about this beautiful couple, I do want to thank a few people. First off, my mom and dad, thank you so much. And Mrs. and Mr. Blewett, thank you for all that you guys have done to make this night so wonderful and just amazing for all of us. You guys have just raised the most kind, amazing human beings, and everyone in this room, if you look around, we all love them so much. And you guys played a huge role in raising these amazing people. So can we all just take this? Okay, I want to start out by saying that Caroline is so truly lucky to have met someone who is so kind, so caring, so funny, so loving. And of course, that all happened 23 years ago when I was brought into her life. sister. There are a lot of us, so I figured we could go over the order. Our oldest brother is Andrew, then there's Brian, then it's Caroline, then me, and then Megan is our youngest. So obviously Caroline is really sandwiched in the middle there, but she's never been your typical middle child. Definitely for Megan and I, and to be honest with you, probably for Andrew and Brian as well. She has always been our leader, the responsible one, the one who gets things done, and the one who buys Christmas presents for mom and dad and then just tells us how much money we owe her. I think it's fair to say that me and my other siblings are pretty easygoing, go with the flow, last minute kind of people. And if you guys know Caroline, you know that that drives her absolutely crazy. But her extreme type A personality is something that we've really grown to appreciate because it keeps us all in track and it really balances us out. And because without it, mom and dad wouldn't get any Christmas presents. Thank you, Caroline, for that. So when Caroline met Pat, I was only a freshman in high school. It actually took her a while to find the courage to tell me that she had a boyfriend. Matter of fact, she never did. It was her good friend Allie that shared that information with me quite a few months into their relationship. My first real interaction with Pat is one that I will never forget. Caroline and I had taken the train down to Camden for a country concert with a few of our friends. And if you went to high school with us, you know that that is never the start of a good story. Anyway, Caroline met up with Patrick, and everyone was having a good time tailgating before the concert. Drinks were flowing, of course, and it turns out that my $1 plastic flip-flops were no match for the broken glass bottles that were all over the ground, and inevitably I cut my foot open on one. Me, being the smart 14-year-old that I was, decided to ignore it because I didn't want to miss out on any of the fun. So I kept going, and eventually Patrick saw me walking along creating a trail of blood, and he stopped me. He found some nice strangers to steal their chair so I could sit there. He cleaned up my foot, he stopped the bleeding, and he found me a Band-Aid. Thank you, Patrick. Thank Patrick for vetoing whatever one of my friends suggested that we clean it out with hot vodka and whatever liquor was in my parents' house. Thank you, Pat. Caroline and Patrick have been a pretty amazing pair since high school, and I've had a front row seat to see their relationship grow. From going through their awkward teenage years together, when Caroline was too nervous to sit next to Pat on the train, to graduating together and figuring out how to operate in the real world and be adults together, I've watched it all. I've watched Patrick take care of Caroline. I've watched the way that they lean on each other in hard times. But the most special thing for me has been watching them fall more and more in love over time. And Patrick, you not only captured Caroline's heart, but you very quickly became part of our family, and we all love you. We are so thrilled to officially have you as another brother-in-law, of course. So now as I wrap up, I don't have too much wisdom or advice for you guys about marriage or growing old together, mostly because most of my advice is from Caroline. But I can say with all honesty that this relationship that I've watched since I was 14 years old and admired has truly set the bar very high for me. The way that you prioritize your relationship, the way that you laugh and have fun together, the way that you love and deeply care about each other is also special. I cannot wait to continue to watch you two fall more and more in love with each other for the rest of your lives. So let's all raise a glass to Caroline and Patrick. As you take on the next chapter of your life together, I pray that it's everything that you dreamed of and more. I love you both.
And coolest Denim sister. If you don't know a lot about me, just think about all of Caroline's wonderful personality traits. I'm the opposite of that. an amazing sister. But the most important thing Caroline's given me is a role model. Like Lauren said, her and Pat set the bar pretty high. But this is no shock because Caroline sets the bar high in everything. She's beautiful, smart, and drivenly. But most importantly, my sister is kind. I've always looked up to her for that. Except for that time when 14-year-old Caroline made 8-year-old me give her $150 for a doll. That was not very kind, and I've never gotten my refund. Despite that, the truth is, Caroline makes everyone around her want to be a better person. I used to think there was no one else in the world like that. And then Pat showed up. I don't remember meeting him. He was just kind of there one day. What I do remember was how kind he was to Caroline. He's always made her smile and is literally the only person who knows how to calm her down. As a young girl, I got to look up to Caroline and Pat, which in my opinion is the best example a girl could have. And just as Caroline set the bar high my whole life, Pat also began to set the bar very high. I've never told him this, and I will never repeat it, but Pat has always been an example for me of how kind, understanding, and devoted a man can be. The way he treats Caroline raises my standards for love every day. There is no one else in the world I would trust my sister's heart with than Pat. Let's all raise a glass. I would wish you guys luck, but you don't need it. I have no doubt you have a lifetime of love and memories ahead of you. So Pat and
One more time, ladies and gentlemen, a great round of applause for these of our Lauren and Megan Taylor. Please welcome to the microphone now, Miss Megan Taylor.
Thank you, everybody. Tough act to follow there, Lauren and Meg and Mr. Denton. You guys all did amazing. I'd like to think that I've gotten a chance to meet everybody in the room tonight at one point or another throughout the years. But in case you haven't, I'm Colin, Patrick's younger brother, and I have the honor of serving as the best man pleased to do that. But before I get to you guys, I do want to start off with a couple quick thank yous to some people who had a big part in putting this day together. Mr. and Mrs. Dennett, Mom and Dad, thank you for all the work you put in over the last year and a half into making this day so special. Patrick and Caroline are incredibly fortunate, as are we all, to have parents that set such a profound example of love and care the way that you guys do for them. And it's pretty evident that the apples didn't far fall. Uncle John, per usual, you did an amazing job of capturing a relationship that Patrick and Caroline share with your mom and dad. Like my dad said last night, it's always so special to have you join in the celebration at our family weddings. And the personal touch that you add just makes the day that much more meaningful. And if you think you've got like 10 or 15 more years left in you, I'd love to lock you in for mine. And then lastly, just for everybody here tonight, it means so much to Patrick and Care to have 200 of their favorite friends and family to join in the celebration this evening. You guys have all played a part in their love, and on behalf of them, thanks for showing up. Alright, Crown, to no one's surprise, you look absolutely stunning tonight. The smile that you've had on your face right now, today, this whole weekend, and honestly the last year and a half of your guys' engagement has been completely infectious. I know it might sound cliche to say that Caroline already feels like family, and that the biggest thing that's going to change after today is her last name, whether she likes it or not. But when they've literally been dating for 10 years, this day has felt pretty inevitable. And I can confidently say that I've considered Caroline to be one of my best friends and like a sister for a while. Caroline, I'm so grateful for the relationship that you and I have formed throughout the years, and I'm even more thankful of the way that you've stepped into the role of big sister for Max. It's something that Patrick and I could never do, and you're clearly a natural with Ron. Karen, the way that you blossomed from the shy and reserved teenage Gwen girl that we met all those years ago, that would be afraid to tell Mama about your gluten-free allergy, forced you to stomach whatever concoction she was putting together in the crock pot. And you've gone from that to a truly irreplaceable part of our family, and that's nothing short of a miracle. Kara, on behalf of everyone in our family, I just want to say how much we love you, and we're so excited for all the years that we have ahead together. Patrick? Whether I like to admit it out loud or not, I have been looking up to you both figuratively and literally for my entire life. Patrick, the way you're able to make an entire room laugh, the genuine love and kindness that you show every person that you meet, your constant smile and your work ethic made you a pretty ideal role model for a little bro like me growing up. Over the years, there's no one that I have aspired to be more like, nor had a bigger influence on me, and for that all I can say is thank you. Well, that was the mushy part. Now, aside from being one of the kindest, most loving, and hilarious people that you'll ever meet, if there's one thing Patrick is also, it's indecisive. It doesn't matter if he's trying to decide what shoes to wear on a night out, what drink he's going to order from the bar, or what sandwich he wants for the beach that day when Aunt Laurie asks him in the morning. You'll often be met with a shaking hand as he holds over and completely loses his decision for about 3 or 4 minutes until you end up just making up his mind for him. And if there's one person in the room who's more aware of that than anybody else, it's the girl sitting next to him. And Carrie just signed up for it for life, and that was your call. But Caroline, over the last 8.5 years, I can honestly say if there's one thing Patrick's never been unsure about, it's how much he loves you. It is genuinely impossible to put in the right words the amount of comfort and joy that it brings me knowing that my best friend and brother will be spending the rest of his life with the person who makes him the happiest version of himself. The love that you guys share is something that everyone in this room is blessed to have been witness to at one point or another throughout the years. There are no two people more meant for each other and more deserving of one another than you guys. And I speak for everyone when I say we're so excited to see what the future has in store for you guys, and more of the same love that you've already shown each other throughout all these years. And with that, let's raise a glass to a very fun night we have ahead, and to many more years of the same love that these guys have already got going.